Welcome back to another edition of Flight Tying for Beginners with Jim Misiura. Today we're going to tie an olive Awsome Possum Bead nymph. The hook that I have in the vise is a standard 3 extra long nymph hook, and I have a 2.5 millimeter black bead on there. And since this bead is not a tungsten bead, I'm going to add some lead-free wire on there. I'm going to add a 15 thousandths. I'm going to put about 12 to 14 wraps on there. And we'll pull that off, and then we're going to push that up into the bead, countersunk bead, so it takes that lead very easily. And then we'll just take that wire off the back. Now the thread I'm going to use, this is 70 denier. This is a dark olive. I'm going to start that thread behind the lead wraps, and we're going to kind of push it into the bead. Put several wraps right in back of those, back of that lead, and then you can go up and back again. And then we're going to bring the thread back to the tail position. Keep that thread at that 45 and you'll get nice tight wraps. And we're going to stop just about where it would hang at the barb. Go ahead and break that off. We're going to start with the tail, and I'm going to use a light blue dun hackle. And we're going to stand them at the 90 degrees off the hackle stem, get those tips aligned, and then pull them all off at once. Then we're going to measure it. We want the tail to be about maybe a half to 3/4 the length of the hook shank. Just going to give it a couple of wraps, make sure I got the length just about right. That's good. And now luckily I don't have to trim anything because these aren't that long. I could just go ahead and secure that all in. And of course that helps to cover some of the gaps in the lead wraps. Bring that thread back to the rear. Now we're going to take a rib, and the rib I have is an extra fine copper wire, and this is green. It's a nice brightish shine to it. We'll go ahead and tie that down. Now I'm going to take my wraps right to the, take my thread right to the lead wraps and then bring it back again. Although we're going to use dubbing, it's good to be in the habit of evening out everything. Now the dubbing is a dark olive Awsome Possum. We're going to go ahead and dub this on, and we're going to make the noodle really skinny at the top. Get a little moisture on my fingers there. So very minimal amount at the top. And as always, remember you can always add more, so not putting enough on there is not going to be a bad thing. And we're going to make it a little thicker as we go down, and that will help us to get a nice taper on the body. Try to keep it even so you don't have big clumpy spots. Just put a little bit more on there. And we're going to go ahead and wrap that This makes a really nice looking fly. And it's dark, so you could use it, although it's olive, you can use it as if it was a black one. In the water, it's going to look really dark, so you don't have to use it on an olive hatch, so to speak. I'm going to bring this up to the thorax area, which is going to be just about on top of the lead wraps. I'm going to take that rib and I'm going to counter wrap it just because it gets you in the habit of counter wrapping. Whenever you wrap a rib around something like a pheasant tail, you have to counter wrap it because it actually secures the pheasant tail. If you wrap it the same way as the pheasant tail, the wire will actually just fall in between the pheasant tails. You counter wrap it, it goes over them. Go ahead and break that off. Now for our wing case and legs, we're going to use pheasant tail, and this is an olive dyed pheasant tail. And I'm going to take about a half an inch of them, and again stand them up so the tips are aligned, and then hold on to them tight and pull them off. If you don't hold on to them tight, you're going to just misalign the tips again. We're going to go ahead and we want our legs to come back about halfway on the nymph, so we're going to leave that much, half of a hook shank, off the front of the bead. And we're going to go ahead and wrap these, keep them on top, keep your finger there so they don't roll away on you, and then when you get to the bead, they're already starting to split for you. Come back and we're going to dub the rest of the body, and we're going to use that same colored Awsome Possum dark olive. And this, we want the thorax to be fatter, so we're going to put this on a little bit heavier. You can see it's heavier there. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this. And obviously I need some more, so we're just going to put some more on. Not a lot because it's getting fat. We're going to come back and bring that forward again. And when we get up here, we have those splitting already. We're going to take half for each side. Just grab them kind of with both fingers or both hands and kind of pull them down to the sides first. Push them around down the sides there. And I got them pushed down to the sides. I'm going to bring the wing case over, and then I'm going to grab those legs and hold them down. Got a couple of them sticking out front. I'll just singe them off. Try to keep them on the sides. There we go. Tug that tight. Fold it back, put a couple wraps in front, and then you can trim. Just trim them off as close as you could. Because of the bead, you're going to leave a little clump there, but that's not a big deal. You can use your fingernail to kind of push that clump back if you want. And now if you don't like that clump and the thread for the head, you could go ahead and put a little bit more of the dubbing on the thread. And this, I would say, just a small amount, enough to hide the thread. Real skinny noodle there. So you're going to start it. Got one stray hair. Now, before I wrap the entire thing, I'm going to use my whip finish. And finish that off. Tug that up tight. Trim that. Now you can adjust those legs a little bit if you want. Pull off any fuzzes. And here we have an olive Awsome Possum Beta Nymph. Put a little bit of head cement on there. Always like to get some on that wing case. And I hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors. Leave comments, questions, suggestions. If you'd like to purchase any of my flies, go to my Etsy page, etsy.com/shop/theflymanjim. And most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.